What up, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you. I'm going to start out today's video by giving a shout out to a subscriber. I did a video on, well, it was kind of a childish video doing donuts in my car, but I figured it was an awesome way to finish off those tires. So I did get some new ones, and I had a subscriber comment on tire selection and picking tires. So I'm going to give a shout out to Anthony Shiano. I hope I got that right, bud. So he's the inspiration behind today's video, and he commented, "Great content, killed those tires real good." Thank you, sir. That's appreciate that. Can you talk about the tire selection process and which alignment will you get? He says, "I know in my 1LE handbook they talk about track alignment." Today I'm not going to touch base on track alignment, but we are going to talk tires. So I got a lot of stuff to get done today, so I got one day to do it. So let's get set up. I'm going to talk about tires. We're going to give you a rundown, how I choose them, and we'll get a little bit more in depth on everything. So let's go. Alright guys, when it comes down to tire selection, there's a few things that come into play. Obviously, you know, what kind of vehicle is this thing going on? And you need to be honest with yourself about what are you going to use this tire for. Are you going to use it for daily driving? You're going to use it for spirited driving? You're going to use it for both? How much is, you know, how much of spirited, how much of daily? Is it just a, you know, weekend only toy? All this plays into tire selection. Before you can really start, you know, running through all the lineups of all the manufacturers, you kind of need to know what kind of tire you're looking for and just a little bit about the anatomy of a tire. So this is going to be a whole lot easier for me rather than dragging everything out and jacking this car up and taking a tire off just to do the same thing. So I just turn my front tire over to the lock position, and I'm going to be using this. So these grooves right here, these are called, the technical term for them is sipes. So if you ever want to ask, like, it's just another terminology for like the tread pattern. It'd be, you know, you could just ask like, what's siping of the tire? What does it look like? Well, the one thing that you have to understand is it's just basic physics that liquids don't compress like gases do. So, and these sipes are important because this is going to be, as your tire runs over, you know, whatever, be it mud or rain, you know, or just, you know, like a standing puddle. These are going to be what, you know, because I guess I should say, start off, this is going to be what channels the water or distributes the water to try to squish. The goal of it is to squish the water out and to keep the footprint of the tire in contact with the pavement. Now these sipes, if you go with more like of a all season, these sipes are going to interlace and they're going to overlap, and that's going to help with you know, getting the water in and continuously finding ways to work the tire all the way out. This is going to cause a little bit of loss of rigidity in the tire. Obviously, with just the sheer width of this tire, this is a 285 on the front, I got 305s on the rear. You know, 305, that's a 12-inch wide tire. At higher speeds, the tire is going to want to try to balloon out. It's going to want to try to stand up. So with the siping of this tire, and you'll see with the siping of this tire the way it is, these actual ribs here actually help with rigidity at higher speeds to you know, and laterally too. The specifics on that, I don't know. I've never worked for a tire manufacturer, and I've never really dug into the tire making process that much. But I know that these ribs are going to help out with strength. They're going to help out with keeping the shape of the tire at higher speeds. But you're going to run, and this is my problem with tires like this. And when I say tires like this, I say tires with this siping or tread pattern. And pretty much with the tire size that I have on these, you know, the one out Lee option, you're very limited to what's going to fit on this tire, because the sidewall of this tire is it's only a 30 on a 20-inch in a ratio that's very small. So it's no big deal, but it seems like the more you jump from manufacturer to manufacturer, it's all pretty much kind of the same thing. After the siping, the only thing you're really going to need to worry about is the compound, and that's pretty much interlocked with the tread wear, and that's going to be how soft or how hard the tire is. Obviously, the softer the tire, depending on what kind of compound, what the makeup of the tire is going to be, you know, higher traction, lower traction. It's kind of a trade-off. You know, the higher traction you get, you know, the faster the tire is going to wear, and this is going to be something, another thing to take accountability with the compound of the tire is going to be how heavy is the car, because, you know, gravity is going to be pushing down, and it's going to be trying to grind that, you know, that tire into the pavement, so that's going to cause excessive wear or accelerated wear as well. So the tread wear, you know, obviously with the Camaro, the one thing I liked about it was it was for the capability, it was a lighter of the big three. So, you know, obviously a car like the Challenger being, you know, 4,400 pounds, that's a lot for a 20-inch tire, you know, for such a, I think they have a 35 sidewall on theirs, but that's a heavy car, so you're gonna have to go with the harder compound, you know, and it's just one of the formula you're gonna have to dial in. So yeah, tread wear, very important. It's going to determine traction, and it's going to determine how long the tire is going to last, and you know, and that comes into the part of be honest with yourself about what you're going to use this tire for. Okay, that being said, now with the tread wear, they're going to be numbered from pretty much like low 100s to, you know, 500s, 600s, and you know, wherever. But the one thing that where people go wrong is the tread wear. It's not across the board as far as tire manufacturers as a whole. The one thing that you need to keep in mind when you're selecting tires is that number is consistent as the manufacturer only. A lot of people think that you know, a 220 in a Goodyear tread wear as opposed to a 220 in a Michelin Goodyear are going to be the same. It's close. It's not the same, but it's close. It's going to be, that 220 is going to be consistent throughout the Michelin lineup. So if there's another tire with another 220 tread wear, that would be something that you would be comparable. So the reason I chose to go with the Goodyear Eagle Supercar 3s is, like I said, in my top 5 most favorite thing I love about this car is, for the money, I think it's the best tire that you can get. In all season, I know Bridgestone makes a Potenza that is an all season, which would give me better wet traction, but I live in Iowa here, and it really doesn't rain a whole lot, and I think that even if it does rain, you probably need to be backing off and slowing down anyway. So that really didn't play a part. That and the it was a Potenza. I'll put it up on the screen, but the front tire, and because I like my tires to match, I have a problem with running those, that hodgepodge, Frankenstein, whatever. The reason I did not like the Potenzas is because I would have to go on the fronts 295, and I was afraid with that short of a sidewall I wouldn't be able to stretch that extra 10 millimeters. So I like my tires to match. I like everything to be nice and clean, so I chose to go with with the Goodyear Eagle Supercar 3s. I think I've never been really that big of a fan of Goodyear. I've had a ton of sidewall belt breaking and you know, a lot of issues with them, but when I did donuts in that video before, they really took a pounding, and I couldn't believe how well they held up to all that heat that you know, just sitting there smoking and put in them. So I was impressed. As far as me and as what I think, I don't think you really need to go with the softer tread compound. You can, if you're going to be really pushing the car and if you're going to be using it track only, I would probably bypass the Michelin 4S's, and I would just I wouldn't go Cup R, but I would probably just go straight to the Cup, Sport Cup 2. I have not driven a car on them yet, but as far as what you can just read on the specs, it's pretty comparable to this. It just seems like it's going to be a little bit stickier of a tire, so it's going to be a little bit easier to heat up. It's going to be a lot more malleable of a rubber. That would be mine. If I had to go with the track tire, that would be my #1 pick, I would think. Anyways, guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope you got something, learned something from it. Drop any questions you have below. If there's something I can help you out with or something I can answer for you or whatever, ask it. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you, Anthony, for today's video. It was something I thought needed to be talked about, and hope you guys are having a great day. Catch you on the next one. See ya.